Hey listeners, this is DeathToBoredom, aka DTB, with Mr. E, and this is episode 2 review of Blue Lock with first impressions by Mr. E and discussions led by yours truly. And just have us in the background while you're doing dishes or doing laundry or cooking or whatever, while you're working if you have a late night shift, all that stuff. And also at the gym is cool too, while you're working out. These are really good suggestions for when to listen to these things. But you could just have it on the side too. Um, just know that things can get pretty heated, pretty opinionated, but it's all in good fun. I mean, obviously, I do have lessons that I like to teach along with that, but I just know not to take them too seriously. I mean, it's like if you have gripes about some things, you are free to uh, you know have just think your way or whatever, because everybody has their own way of life, kind of thing, right? And their own hardships and whatnot, and so you may not agree with some things, and that's fine, but yeah, I mean, go ahead and like talk about it in the comments section, whether you agree or disagree and why. And it'd be best if you did watch episode 2 right before right before listening to this. If Blue Lock hasn't been uh you know, hasn't been on your mind for a while now, or you're not really familiar with certain things that goes on in it. And yeah, enjoy the episode. So where do you want to start? You can start the place where you want to
Yeah.
make the
All right.
topic.
So I guess we can just start, yeah, from like right from the beginning. It was very interesting getting a little more background knowledge on Ego,
Oh yeah,
who's
yeah, that's
running the
right.
Blue Lock program.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, he's got a lot of backing from one of the higher ups in the JFU and everything.
I think it's like I think maybe it's not just one of them. Maybe it's like most of them really, or maybe even all of them.
I mean, obviously, he'll have the backing from all of them. I feel like if the program is happening, but
Yeah,
that lady, I didn't catch her name, but the
yeah.
female character who was part of the JFU, she was the one that apparently hand selected him to run this program because she believes he's the only one that can, make the world's greatest striker and give the Japanese soccer team the best shot at taking home the title for the World Cup.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So
That's right.
obviously, there's still so much I want to know about this ego guy because I
Yeah.
mean, what did he do to, get this kind of support from someone so high up in the, you know, association or federation or whatever it is?
Yeah, yeah, true. But
Yeah. So, mhm.
like what he's explained throughout the episode, it all makes sense, and like it's very meticulous calculations that are involved, right? And
Yes. Hmm.
he's just like like all these numbers and whatnot. You only get like 158 seconds with the ball, and blah blah blah, like stuff like that, right?
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, he's got a lot of knowledge when it comes to soccer and how the games work on a professional level. Because like right here, you're playing the scene of Kira trying to make his case as to why he shouldn't be eliminated.
Yeah.
And yeah, we were all so worried because he seemed like such a nice guy, but then I don't know, it seems like we're seeing his true colors when he's really trying to argue and make his case and just complaining, making himself kind of look like a clown almost. I mean, he's just making it real awkward, it seems like.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I do get where he's coming from though, because Well, I'm assuming he was the highest ranked in the room, right? One of the higher ranks
Yeah,
at
he
least.
was. He was the highest.
Yeah, in that room. So yeah, then he is the first eliminated. So I mean, obviously he probably didn't see that coming.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
And yeah, just the expression on his face and the tone of his voice, the volume of his voice. Yeah, he was very upset about that. I made a note that said he is leaving very ungracefully. Like,
that's funny. Yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, no, is something to really note about that whole exchange. I feel like is how Ego handles it. Like you were saying, he was coming up with all of these figures and stats and all of this information to back up the choice that, yeah, no, you're eliminated, Kira. Bye bye. Yeah,
Also,
that face right there. Oh my God,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
terrifying.
It's just like Attack on Titan.
Basically, yeah, no, like it's that
Oh my
intense,
god.
but he's not seeing Titans eat anyone. He's just get knocked out of a little soccer program.
I was like, yeah. I mean,
Oh
to
my
be
God, yeah, the
fair,
drool stupid.
like when they accept this, once they're out, they have no chance of going pro.
Yeah, that was a condition at the beginning, right? If
Yep,
you're
yep,
eliminated, you can
exactly.
never yeah, you can never go pro.
Yep,
Yes,
yep.
I mean that is like his dream kind of being torn away and him not even able to make sense of why this little game of tag has such a big deciding factor on the direction of his life. I
Yeah.
did make a little note too that said may come back into the series as a villain because after seeing how he's looking at Isagi right there,
Yeah, yeah, exactly, man.
he looks like he is yeah
I
looking for blood.
swear, they got the animators of Attack on Titan to come in here and make these faces.
Yeah, man, they're very,
Oh
very
my
intense. I mean,
god.
right there, you see like veins all around his eyes. His
The
nose is so
wrinkles.
scrunched up. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's aging himself by like 10 years, and isn't he
Exactly.
like a 16 or 17-year-old kid? Maybe younger. I don't even
Yeah.
know, but yeah,
And his teeth were like you
very
could hear
intense.
them grinding too.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, he's clearly a bit upset about being eliminated.
Oh yeah, yeah. Anybody would be. I think that it's nothing about true colors. It's like he does know exactly what just happened to him at the end of the day, and that's why this is like the reaction. I think that anybody that was trying to make a great soccer career or whatever, would feel
Hmm.
the same because I mean,
That's a good point. Yeah.
at the end of the day, in any sports, like everybody has a lot of ego. Um,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
and if they're like told that they can't make a career out of this anymore because of a 2 minute uh, game or whatever this was, right?
Right. I
Like,
think it was 90 seconds, so less than 2 minutes.
yeah, exactly. Whatever, you know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah.
just,
Your whole
yeah, it all ended right
dream and
there in just that
yeah,
in that 90 seconds.
the whole plan you had for yourself, yeah, just been destroyed, dismantled, all because of yeah, a game of tag.
Yeah.
But like Ego explained it very well as to why it was very relevant to being on the professional stage of soccer and everything. He
Mm-hmm.
said that the room was the size of the penalty box. Is that what it was?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, he had all the facts and all the stats to back up his reasoning.
Yeah.
And so I mean, really at the end of the day, you can't really argue with it if that's how the program goes. And I mean, he did lay out the rules at the beginning in the first episode that if you are eliminated, which 299 people will be eliminated, only one person is going to come out on top.
Mm-hmm.
So the odds are against every person in the program, really.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like when one really thinks about it, I mean, it's or I get really thinks about it, but also can like reasonably think about it, I guess. But
Mm,
that's what I really mean. Um, because like a lot of people, even if they think about it as much as they try to, they still wouldn't understand, I guess.
Mhm.
Uh, but when you look at it from an unbiased point of view, then you'll find that just because you were the first to get eliminated doesn't mean your chance was any less than the other 298 people.
Right, yeah, mhm.
You just got the most humiliating defeat, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's yeah, very humiliating, like you said, being the
Yeah.
first one among your peers to be eliminated. That's just yeah, especially when you were, ranked as the highest in the room, yeah, and you got knocked out by the 2nd lowest, right? That's where Isagi
Yeah,
was?
that's right.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, man. Yeah,
yeah.
so I think there kinda goes our hopes for Kira maybe continuing in the series, who knows? Sure, well, there's a lot more episodes down the road, but
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know. I
yeah.
feel like if he comes back, it's not gonna be nearly as friendly. You
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I mean, there's no way that he would let go of this grudge.
Right, yeah.
Uh,
Mhm.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
the last
like
person he looks at is Isagi. Ugh.
talking about this guy again, like I'm just gonna like try to get everything sorted out. Is that like in the first episode, um,
Mhm.
he was like, he sounded really nice and all that, right? But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, he actually always saw himself above Isagi, and probably
Mhm.
above a lot of other people too. Um,
Yeah, he may have been so nice because he never saw anyone as a threat.
yeah, not as a threat, not as a rival or anything, just sees them as someone that will pass him the ball correctly or do a good job of it,
Mhm.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
right. Mhm.
that's exactly what he said to Isagi when they met at the gate. He was like, "Oh, you seem like the kind of guy that'll do a really good job to passing the ball to me or whatever like that."
Right, yeah, it's kind of like a backhanded compliment, huh?
Yeah, exactly. But
Like
you didn't
yeah,
see it, and I wasn't gonna make a comment about it until this point.
right, well, that's something you probably wouldn't really notice, I guess, until, well, you finally see, how else he can act, you know?
Yeah,
When you just
yeah.
see the teddy bear side of him, he just seems like I mean, obviously, as an athlete, you have to have a bit of an ego and everything, but when you kinda sugarcoat it like he seemed to do, it kinda goes by, unseen almost. Like it
Mhm.
was for me, yeah, I did not, expect this kind of reaction.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I had to save my comments. There's a lot of things I would like to say in the
Mhm.
first episode, but it's like I would go on forever, and it would basically ruin a lot of first time reactions for you. I mean,
Oh, yeah. No, for sure. No
you
spoilers.
probably wouldn't even feel it though because it's like it's just because we're like casually talking about these things and like it'll just give you something else to appreciate. But I just prefer if you had that first time reaction kind of deal. Uh, but yeah, I mean, it's really fun to listen to how someone thinks of this, someone thinks of that, as
Most
their first
definitely.
time. That is. But yeah, so this one and then ego, like, whatever his past is, it's very clear that he knows what he's talking about and he did all the statistics and like he would put them into these practical yet ridiculous situations. Like who
Mhm.
thinks of up of making a tag game out of all that? You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, yeah,
how does
yeah,
he get to
right.
that point?
Yeah, it kind of, intrigues me as, what, other test he has in mind, what other games he'll put everyone through,
hmm
and
Like,
how he'll, relate it back to the sport of soccer, yeah.
yeah, I'm just wondering, like, who has done these things before? I'm sure that like there's like 100 years worth of information and weird tactics and weird training that like really put things into perspective and like maybe whoever made this manga. Yeah, it starts off with the manga. But whoever made it, like they just did research on all that and then just implemented it into the show, into a really well, eloquently made show. uh,
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, whoever did their research, yeah, did it very well.
yeah, either and if this person did, or if people, person or people did, like thought up of some of these ideas by themselves, then they made it very believable that this is something that's worth implementing into one's training or whatever, right?
Yeah. Mhm. Definitely, definitely. Yeah,
Yeah,
I wonder if the creators of this were very familiar with soccer. Well, obviously they have to be familiar, but
yeah,
like if they all played it and,
yeah. That is something to think
went to
about.
any
Yeah,
different
yeah.
levels, yeah.
Cause like I mean, a manga writer, manga uh
Mangaka.
author, I guess.
Mhm.
One that makes the manga as in like draws it.
Mhm,
So the way
mhm.
that manga works is that the artist doesn't necessarily have to be the one making the story. It
Right.
can just be the manga writer, the author that made the story, and then the artist that just basically draws it out for them. Yeah, that's what it would be.
Mhm.
Yeah, and uh, I don't know how much they would get paid or whatever. I'm sure that they get paid, but yeah, I don't know the full process of how the manga creation goes. To be honest with you, because one, the guy that made One Punch Man and Mob Psycho, right?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah, so I think the name of the artist that worked on the One Punch Man that got really popular is Yusuke Nakamura, maybe? Let me just well, it's Yusuke Murata. There you go. Let's
Murata.
see.
Okay.
Uh Yusuke Murata, One Punch Man. Okay, so
Hmm.
this should be,
Illustrator for Blue Lock is also named Yusuke.
at least I'm hoping this is be not though. Maybe this is the guy that is best known for his work in illustrating the redrawn version of One Punch Man, as well as the collaboration with Tomi Nagaki. Oh, okay. Yes, yes. So he is the guy. Yeah. So Yusuke Murata worked with one, but I don't know to what extent because one was just making the giant monster one punch destroyed,
Mm.
exploded,
Yeah,
imploded.
right. Hmm.
So I don't know how much of a level this story writing went with one, but all I do know is that Yusuke Murata worked uh, under him to some degree,
Oh, okay.
and I would have to do more research. But that's all just to point out that uh, the manga author, the one that writes it, doesn't necessarily have to
Mhm.
be the one that makes the art, but the artist does have to have some liberties, uh, a lot of liberty actually, because they are the one that's drawing out the panels and drawing out the characters and designing and all that. So
Mhm.
yeah, they like for example for One Punch Man, they would I'm pretty sure that Yusuke along with probably another one like Richiko, it says in the Wikipedia, they
Mhm.
would like plan out how to set this action scene and how to make it as epic as possible and this frame of impact and how should the frame of impact be made and all that stuff, right? And that's
Mhm.
something that like one himself wouldn't be able to set up because he has no experience making such high quality manga at that time.
Mm. Okay.
I'm pretty sure that
Yeah,
one
no, that
made
makes a lot of sense.
Mob Psycho by himself. I feel like because the art style and the atmosphere of it is very much what I picture him to be like. But
Okay,
yeah,
that's interesting.
besides
Mm.
that though, but yeah, so where was I even going with all that anyway? I don't even know.
I don't know, but yeah, no, that was a really interesting little rabbit hole we went down.
Right, right. It was because of ego. That's right. It was all because of him.
Oh.
Yeah. And so what I was trying to get at was that the one that makes the art for Blue Lock isn't necessarily the one that is the author of it. And the one that's the author
Oh,
of
sure.
it was probably on his way to become a pro. Maybe he was a pro and he had to quit, he had to retire. There's like all kinds of things that can go on and then because he used to be a pro or upcoming pro or whatever, right? He has connections to people and he can talk to these people about statistics, about this and that, about how this works, about how that works, about the training that has been done in the past, blah blah blah, like or in other countries or whatever. Like that's why they make all these references to other countries. It's like, oh, that one pink-haired kid was like, oh, I'd rather play soccer with college kids in Germany. It's like
Right. Yeah.
apparently, that means that Germany's college kids are better at soccer. uh,
Yeah, right.
but yeah, so that's the point that I was trying to get at is that uh, like the author would it would probably have to be an ex pro or almost, yeah.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
that
just doing a little bit of research on my own.
okay, yeah,
Uh, the author the author for Blue Lock manga was, Muneyuki Kanshiro,
okay,
and it says here on the 10 things you didn't know about the creator of Blue Lock by CBR.com. Let's see, it says, in fact, according to Kanshiro himself, he has a complete zero at soccer, preferring to watch it on TV or play soccer video games instead. That's very interesting, but he does watch it, and if you're playing video games, you do have to have an understanding of mechanics, at least, of the game, so that's quite
mm-hmm.
interesting.
Yeah, yeah, okay,
But that doesn't mean he didn't have a lot of friends and whatnot, people that maybe he, would communicate with and would give him some a better idea, a different view of the sport.
mm-hmm. Yeah, good job. You did a little bit of research of your own, and that's great. Oh, and kind of Shiro himself is also a manga artist as well, but in terms of Blue Lock, he decided to just become a writer. So this is
Mm.
one of those things that I was talking about, before he could even become a writer, he had to become an artist first.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like a lot of the times, yes, you can be just a writer in like the professional fields, but to get there, unfortunately, you have to be something else. Like
No, you
the
just have to
barrier
be
to
very
entry is like
flexible, yeah.
yeah, just so sad to me, in a way. But it's just because we live in a world where, or we live in a country where, people prefer connections and like what they
Mhm.
see, I guess, over um a curated system, I guess, is what I would like to call it. Like just a
Mm.
system, basically, really.
Right.
Uh,
Mhm.
that's like a logical system, really. That's what I really mean. Logic system. But in any case, though, let's see. So yeah, it doesn't really say anything more about him in the Wikipedia. About like how he went about making Blue Lock, if he knew other people. So, but I mean, I'm sure that like soccer people would not mind at all to like share what they know about soccer. Not only that, that just reminded me that yes, um, people in Japan, they do a whole ton of research before making these things, these kinds of things, because when it comes to serialization of manga, you can't just dilly dally in stuff like that, right?
Mhm.
Unless you're just going for like coolness or whatever, like Bleach, for example.
Yeah, sure,
But
sure.
something like soccer, like it's an established sport, it's a real thing. It's something that like if you're gonna do it, then you gotta like do your research. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like
right, yeah. I feel like writing about any kind of thing, you're doing your research, right?
exactly, exactly that.
Mhm.
So yeah, especially when you're making a publication of it, making it,
Yeah.
for people to read and watch and whatnot. But that
Mhm.
is to say that to be able to um like throw out all this information to just like regurgitate it out. It's not even regurgitating though. That's the thing. It's like they're explaining it in a way that's like easiest to understand within a few seconds or a few minutes. Actually, in this case, I'm pretty sure it was like I believe I timed it to be like around 3 minutes of the conversation between the two.
Mm.
um
Kill an ego? Yeah.
no, it wasn't. It was way more than that because it started around like 4. Yeah, so it started around 4, and then like it's been 7 minutes. Let's see. Yeah, seems to be the case, but no, it's still going, right? Uh, no, no, yeah. So I guess it was like 3 minutes worth. Oh, wow. Cool. Nice, nice. So I did time it right. Okay. But in any case, though, yeah, 3 minutes to explain all that, and like that. You do need the visuals to help as well, obviously. So it all works together really well, and like I've only ever really seen Japan do that, do that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like they'll
Oh, and the
explain
writing.
things in such a way that is easily digestible to at least someone would that has a a good enough mind, I guess. Like it's not for everyone anyway. That's what I am saying that like maybe
Yeah,
30% of
yeah.
the people will understand. I feel like,
Well, right, yeah.
but that's
I mean,
still like a
this is
lot.
only like yeah, this is only the 2nd episode of an anime, so they have to explain it in a sense where any new viewer basically can catch on and not get lost in convoluted explanations and whatnot, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
Like you said,
exactly.
easily consumable. That's what I think they were going for, but not only making it easily consumable, but also sound, I don't know, highly intelligent and whatnot, you
Yes,
know?
exactly. That is
Yeah,
correct.
they did a very good job at explaining, I don't know, I guess the, madness behind these methods.
Yeah, yeah. Even though like I don't know if all this is really the case. If I were to do the research, how much of it is really bullshit, right?
That's a good point, right, yeah. Mhm.
Cause like they made up a character in episode one to that beat Messi or something like that.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Uh,
fictional character, right.
yeah, yeah, this Noah guy that I don't even know if we'll ever see, but like he has a character design and everything. So maybe we'll see him.
Yeah, that does make me curious because what later in this episode they do introduce that Psy guy,
Yeah, yeah, Sai, yeah. That's
and
right.
he is one of the world's 11 heroes.
Well, is that what they said?
Yeah, that's what one of the things they
Yeah, it's
said. I
pretty
was like,
funny.
oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how highly they regard soccer players and heroes, world heroes.
Mm-hmm.
That mean he's on like the world team or something? Like, is there one person from, I don't know, just the 11 best in the world or something make up this soccer team and he's one of them?
Maybe. I mean, all I know is that his passport expired for whatever reason. I don't even understand how that works because like over here, you know, the minimum expiry date for passports like 5 years. This guy's like only like 16 or something. I feel like
Yeah.
16,
Mhm.
18, whatever it is. Like, I don't know how old he actually is, to be honest. I never did pay attention, but like, I mean, uh, either way, he's probably like really young, right? That's all I'm really saying. And
Yeah,
like,
no, that's kind of what
for it to
I'm.
expire, it's like, are you like 21? Are you like 23 or something?
Yeah, right. I mean, if he's a pro, I feel like he'd have to be at least 18, but
I guess so. Probably. I mean, even
otherwise,
going pro at
it's
18 is
not
just
playable.
unbelievable, honestly, right?
Yeah, I mean, in any sport, yeah, there's not very many
Yeah,
people that do that.
exactly. Like, would you even be able to name any?
I'm pretty sure in the sport of basketball, it was Kevin Garnett who was
Oh,
drafted to the Minnesota Timberwolves right out of high school, I feel, so 18 or 19.
holy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he was a very talented player.
Okay,
Probably
right
one of
out
the
of
most
high
talented
school.
that ever
So,
came.
but this was all the way back in like 1980s, apparently. Because
Yeah, I
yeah, he was
think.
born in
Yeah.
1976.
Yeah. Like that was kind of like my childhood when he was on the Wolves.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he's only 48 years old, right? That's very young and he already retired. Or maybe he's still playing, I don't know. I don't pay
It
attention to
says it
basketball.
says he's a former pro.
Oh yeah, career ended 2016, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, let's see. But besides that though, yeah, so Sai, right? This was a really funny one. Like the one thing that I noted from him was his comment about how, oh, there's nobody worth passing to. There's nobody that's
Mm,
worth my pass. I was
yeah.
like, what? It's like this character's all set up just to pass to a striker that will come out of blue lock. Is that what you're telling me here? uh,
Right.
like what kind of comment is that? What kind of dialogue are you giving this guy for him to say something like that? It's like he's so
Yeah.
egotistical, yet he's like, "Oh, nobody here is worth my pass."
Right. Well, I mean, maybe that's that level of ego, that ego is trying to get out of these other kids.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
guess I'm
yeah.
kind of just realizing now that with them introducing this Blue Lock program to the press and everything, yeah, this is the first time they've ever done anything like this.
Mm-hmm.
Very experimental program. It's
Yeah,
not something
yeah.
to run tests on and like, oh yeah, this is a successful program that will for sure produce, one amazing striker. I'm sure it's not going to get to the point where they're like, oh, we were wrong. This program doesn't work. But But that is quite interesting. First time they're trying such a, I don't know, kind of a harsh program. As we saw, like the people of the press were not too impressed with it.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
more
that's right.
concerned for the other 299 people ruining their lives. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody here was like, "Oh, think of the kids. Oh, why are you so mean to them?" And then like Sai's
Right.
like, "I'm
Fuck
gonna
them kids.
stay now. Like I,
Yeah, for
I want to see for myself what they produce.
right, yeah.
What kind of idiot they produce in this."
Yes.
Oh my god.
But
Yeah,
that'll be
yeah.
interesting to
So
look
I
at
mean,
too.
yeah, it's like normal people can't understand um the amount of work that needs to be done to like get these kinds of results. Like if you want to manufacture it basically, because
Mhm.
someone like Messi, I heard was that he was born poor and like almost like in a third world country or like in the ghettos or something, right? There's something
Mhm.
like that, right?
Probably. Haven't
Yeah.
done any
I
research
mean,
on the
probably, but I mean, even if not, there's definitely somebody that's been like there and had to like go from zero to hero kind of deal anyway. And
oh, for
it just
sure.
goes to show that like, all this suffering or like focus, no matter what environment you're in, and
Mhm.
like if you're like in a surviving habitat, then it only makes you even stronger if you come out of it and like and with ambition that is still uh
Mhm.
and I can see that with Messi. Not that I know anything about Messi though. I don't really study soccer at all. uh like I haven't even done research on him, but like what people tell me or say from hearsay, this guy is such a big deal anyway.
Yeah, no, he's supposed to be one of the greatest players to ever play the game. Doing
Yeah.
a little research here, it just says, yeah, he grew up in like a middle class family.
Okay.
His dad, George Messi or Jorge Messi, he was a steel factory manager, and his mother, Celia, worked in a magnet manufacturing workshop. He was the
Mm-hmm.
third of four children. And yeah, it says he grew up in a football loving family. And so, I mean, middle class, I mean, so he didn't have like the best of the best equipment and probably programs available to him,
Mm-hmm.
but it sounds like his family did what they needed to, moved when he wanted to like make soccer, his passion and everything. They
I
moved to
see.
a area where soccer programs were better, look like.
Mm-hmm. Okay, okay. So it
In
was due
Barcelona.
to the love of his family that he was able to progress much better forward.
Yeah, yeah, right. I mean, the supporting cast is always gonna, help a lot in the long run for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Yeah, good job, man. Like that's what I love about you. Like you'll do the research on the spot and like you'll find out the facts.
Yeah,
The facts
just
that we
gotta
need.
know.
Yeah, while I'm blathering on. uh, yeah, cause
No,
like
but
yeah, I
mhm.
wasn't I wasn't gonna do the research just because like I was like focusing on the topics that I wanted to talk about, and so like I couldn't really like multitask. Yeah,
Oh yeah, for sure. That's why there's two heads are better than one.
yeah, yeah, exactly that. But yeah, so but yeah, I mean that's good to hear that he didn't have to go through being a third world country or anything. But I have seen uh people living in the ghettos that have just like they make do with what they have. Like for example, there's like I saw this like many clips of these black guys that are they were very heavily influenced by anime, and
Mm,
so like they do like all these stunts and whatnot, like and it's like inspired by Naruto, inspired by this, inspired by that, inspired by My Hero Academia, inspired by Goku or whatever, stuff like that, right? Like they do
yeah.
these like crazy flips, they do these crazy jumps, and they do these crazy uh kicks, and and just like stunt works that I never would have thought was ever possible, to be honest. Like,
Yeah, man. I mean, some people, they're athletic or even just, yeah, I don't know, their abilities to perform those feats are really amazing. Yeah.
yeah. And what I wanted to get at was that like these people they didn't have proper equipment. They just like this guy would just like carry 2 jugs of water, or
Mm.
like or for bench pressing they use 2 jugs of water, because like water can be very heavy, right? If you like use those giant jugs that you use for
Oh,
water
yeah.
dispensers or whatever, right?
Right, like the 5-gallon jugs and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah, those things
exactly.
aren't nothing to laugh at. Yeah, those are pretty heavy.
Yeah, yeah, and then like one guy would like have a mattress against the wall outside of his house in the backyard to like I don't know like I don't know if it was to beat up or to do flips on or something, but
Probably a little bit of both, but yeah, wow. Working
yeah,
with what you got. Yeah, that's
exactly. It's like no matter how ghetto your equipment is, like if you understand like what these things can give you, see the opportunities. And it's not just like you don't need proper equipment at the end of the day. Uh,
right. Yeah, you don't need this blue lock level equipment to become great.
yeah, you just need the commitment and also you do need intelligence because who even comes up with these kinds of things, right? It's only people who like look for them, right? Look for them, think
Yeah.
of them. Um, it's all about your commitment uh to improvement and like yeah, it's just that simply think because yeah, when you're committed to improvement and like that's all you think about, I guess. Uh, you could get a lot of results out of it, um, but that's only if
Mhm.
you can keep committed. Because for me,
Yeah.
I thought I was committed, which I am to some degree, but I do find myself lacking because it's like, oh, I feel so tired, I can't get up. Oh, blah blah, this and that, right? Like I'm
Mhm.
making
Mhm.
excuses and whatnot, and then it's like, well, I mean, that just goes to show your commitment at the end of the day. I'm not afraid to admit that I'm lazier than a lot of people, and like, because that's just the reality of how I lived, how I wanted to live my life, but couldn't. And
Mhm.
but I
Mhm.
mean, I still do to some degree, which is honestly, against me. but because like it when you're conflicting between laziness, wanting to be living a casual life and not wanting to really do much, uh, like it's very much a headache. You can't half-ass basically.
Oh,
You
yeah.
have to be
Definitely
one way
gotta
or the
full effort.
other. Well, you can't
Yeah.
really be the other actually. Not now that I just said that. No, I cannot be lazy. That's just not really allowed. But that's
Right.
why I have to make a slow improvement. But I'm telling you right now that if I was just always committed, then I wouldn't be going through all that, the headache and the struggle of of being lazy or whatnot. And that
Mhm.
like, I would have done this, I would have done that, I would have looked into being healthier and do more research on it because I know what can be done, but I'm not doing it because I'm not committed to it, right? And then when I do them and I do like, commit to it and like commit to spending money by the way as well, that is also another thing. uh, it's not just laziness. It's not just wanting to be casual. It's also being willing to spend the money as well. Okay, because
Mhm.
uh,
Mhm.
because I didn't spend money, I didn't invest in myself. Okay,
Right.
that is why I'm not getting better. right? I'm not at the speed that I want to be. That is at the speed that I want to be.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, that is all to say that, when you just like keep it simple like that, then it all comes together eventually, and you just like you keep thinking of more ways to improve yourself, kind of thing. Like it really does not matter your age, because I've seen those not 90-year-old grandmas that are still working in their uh grandchildren's Japanese restaurant, very small, with only like 3 workers, and they're working the entire day. And this owner, is like working 18 hours a day, and why is it that all these small restaurants would have their own 90-year-old grandma anyway? Like, what is up with that? But either way, though, they're working there, and they're still active, and they're still like working harder than 99.9999% of grandmas out there in the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right. Right.
Still
Mhm.
healthy and everything because they have good food and are active.
Right. Yeah.
But in any case, though, yeah, just like divulging the secret to like success kind of thing. But yeah, in any case, just lock in or lock off.
There you
that's
go.
the
Yeah.
that's the point.
Yeah.
Lock in or
Very
lock
much
off.
so. You have 2 choices. Yeah. You have
Uh,
2 options. Yeah. Yeah.
but in any case, though, that is all to say that like normal people cannot understand. That was the whole point of that rant.
Mhm.
Because uh, what they wanted for entertainment was exactly that. They people like people in these sports have to become monsters to be able to compete with each other. Uh, or um, or maybe I guess that is the reason why sports is just a business kind of thing. Is so that like um people don't have to try as hard, and they can just make the money without having to be the best, right?
Mm.
But if you want to be the best, you do have to become a monster, become the greatest monster, because like apparently Messi is like this one hero that everybody's like seeing and all that, but I'm sure that
Mhm.
he's like a total monster on the field. And I don't know how much he's ruining his body to be like that, right?
Right. Right.
Um,
Yeah.
but for sure, I mean, he's gonna retire wealthy and early and whatnot. I just don't know
Oh,
how
for sure.
early is the question. But
Yeah, that's
yeah,
a good question. Yeah, when I was
yeah,
looking up Messi earlier, he's already 37 or something like that, 38?
mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I last checked as well, and that's still very young apparently.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, either way though, like, I mean, I don't mind soccer, or no, sorry, I don't mind sports being that like, people retire really early, whether it's like 30, 35, 40, whatever, right? Because
Mhm.
these sports are very extreme, very heavy on the body. Uh,
Oh, yeah.
like I've seen the basketball foot, and it is oof.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like I cannot like I would not want to look at that again. It's like a
Yeah, and
mutant or
some people don't
something.
have to live with that. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah,
that's
no,
like
sports, it's a lot of sacrificing that you have to do in order to be great,
yeah,
at the end of the day.
exactly. You ruin your body,
Your
but
time, your
like
body, your mentality sometimes.
oh yeah, not just sometimes, man. Like I'm pretty sure it's all the time. Especially when you're like
Right.
losing, and like people are
Mhm.
like, are cussing you out, like the
Mhm.
all those people cussing your team out and all that.
Right,
Like
right.
it's just not ever a fun time, right?
Yeah,
When you lose.
right, right. Yeah, and
Uh,
for soccer, I mean, I've heard of the fandoms for soccer being very, very, uh, I guess we could say passionate, but yeah, no, they can get pretty wild.
mhm.
Uh, different kind, like I've heard of some teams when they lose in a match, like they have to literally worry for the safety, their own safety, their lives and everything when they're leaving the stadium because the fans get so upset about a loss.
Yeah,
Sometimes
yeah,
they're willing to, inflict bodily harm upon the players.
yeah.
Like it's just, ugh. Very, very crazy, lifestyle for some of these, professional athletes.
Mm. Yep, yep. I think that all of them have, or it's crazy for all of them, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I know soccer is probably one of the craziest. I mean, like for professional, like American football and everything, it's, yeah, you got a lot of very passionate fans, but it's more so just a lot of, people saying terrible things online about players and whatnot. Not so much of people like, well, I guess maybe there's death threats through letters and everything, who knows? I mean, I'm not a professional athlete by any means, so I'll never receive any praise or hatred due to my athletic abilities, but I'm sure many of these players, I mean, it's got to do a lot to your mentality, yeah, being, told to, F off and this and that, leave my
Lock
team,
off.
blah, 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 walk off, exactly. Like, yeah, it's got to be hard, but they're also, I mean, a lot, and they're also young too. I mean, you're becoming this professional athlete in your mid 20s or so, sometimes a little earlier. So, I mean, just like I remember how fragile I was, when I was late teens, early 20s. Like, just, yeah. I mean, that's just dealing with like comments from people at bars and even like rude comments from a couple friends here and there, like that just can really mess you up, and now this is like people you don't even know, who are just judging you based on your athletic ability, don't know anything about you, and yeah, it takes a very strong sense of mentality to survive in this professional level of any sport, I would say.
Yeah, and
But I know
like,
for like football and everything on the pro teams, they'll have people that will like train the players on how to speak to media and train them how not to take things so personally. But
mhm.
then you always have the people that are the players that, I guess the training doesn't really take, and then they kind of just speak their mind, and then they become known as a rough around the edges kind of player, doesn't care about what so and so says and this and that.
Right, right. Yeah, you
They,
can't blame
yeah,
the player for blame the athlete for how they how they end up when they grow up. It's like no matter how egotistical they are, it was a result of the life that they had to live. You know what I mean?
yeah, right. The environment they had to, like you said before, survive.
Mm-hmm.
Environment they had to survive in.
Yeah, yeah, exactly that. And I do blame the people for that because I mean, with such toxic people, like they're they're like yeah, they're making these players think that way, right? Because
Right.
at the end of the
Hmm.
day, I mean, everybody's human, so taking in all that is like one has to destroy themselves and rebuild themselves back up to be able
Hmm.
to keep going with all that.
Oh yeah, for sure, 100%. I mean,
And,
sometimes they just have to completely like shut out social media and all that just so they can focus on improving the skills that they want to improve to, move to the next level.
yeah,
And that probably takes a lot of restraint and everything, especially when people might be talking smack online and whatnot.
yeah,
Probably
yeah.
even more restraint not to try to defend yourself and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Uh,
that's what happens, when you become a centerpiece on stage of whatever sport you're playing.
Yeah, yeah, like yeah, I just wanted to get back to this where it's like how I said, people wouldn't understand.
Mhm.
Uh but at the same time I do agree with the this paparazzi and whatnot, the like saying, "Oh, like it's okay to ruin lives for one of 209 people just for one person." Like,
Mhm.
this is what it takes to become the best. So I think that, you know, there should be they should set standards to be more safe, to be uh to be more what is it? It's so that people can be the best without having to become a monster, or not really that, more like without setting the standard so high for what soccer, for being the best at soccer. Yeah, that's what I really mean. But
Mm.
I can already see a lot of people that would complain like, "Oh, you're making things so boring," because
Oh, yeah.
I see with women's sports, like the women versions of these things, and they're a lot more
Mhm.
safe. And then the complaint that I'm pretty sure it's mostly men would be like, "Oh, it's so boring. Like they're just it's so safe. It's so blah blah blah." You know what I mean? Like, but
Right, yeah.
I feel like men's sports needs to learn from women's sports, if anything. And with lowered standards, eventually, okay, yeah, sure, those people that feel like it's boring, they can just lock off. And
Yeah, no, it's kind of interesting point
we
you're
can have
making, yeah.
a healthier community as a result of that.
Yeah, so here in, for American football, a lot of people are for years now have been complaining about all these new rules that have been being put in place due to, trying to protect the players and everything from hurting themselves. Like one of the most recent was there's a sort of tackle that defenders will do on the offensive players to stop them. It's called the hip drop tackle.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was a sort of tackle where you were grabbing the player from behind and kind of dragging them down by dropping your hip on their leg that was, closest to you and whatnot. So kind of tripping them up like that. But the result of a lot of that kind of tackling, that style of tackling was player injury. The person getting tackled would a lot of times like I mean, I can't be for certain on exactly the kind of injury, but I think it was somewhere along the lines of like snapping your Achilles or breaking, breaking knees, twist just it would twist the player's leg up really bad and sometimes have them out for the rest of the season.
Yeah,
Other times, it could have been season or career ending and whatnot.
yeah.
And so they banned that kind of tackling. But then
Wow.
you have people complaining that especially some of the older fans, like, someone like my father, he's, used to an older generation of the sport, watching it in the '70s and the '80s, and all they talk about is, "Oh god, yeah, there's all crybabies nowadays, you barely get touched and all of a sudden it's a flag and this and that, blah, blah, blah." It's like, well, it's just, these guys are young and there's no reason that their professional life should be over because they got tackled once
Yeah,
and whatnot. But
yeah.
then, you kind of hear perspectives from some of the professionals in the league, even the offensive players. Like one of the most notable players in the league is Tom Brady, star-studded quarterback for many years.
Mm-hmm.
But he had made a couple comments on the banning of certain types of tackling, styles of tackling and whatnot, where he says it's more so on the league that they're trying to keep the players on offense safe so much that they're eliminating ways for the defense to, stop the progression of the ball down the field. And by doing so, that they're kind of hurting the offensive players because they're taking away the responsibility on them to defend themselves. Because he would talk about how they would go over in practice back in the day on how to be tackled. You
Mhm.
know, not only to tackle, but when you're getting tackled, what should you be doing? You know, like there are the players that sometimes they'll get hurt because in the midst of getting tackled, they will be trying to fight for another yard, another foot, another inch. And in the
Mhm.
midst of that fight, that's when they get hurt because they're going against the defenders, opposing force,
Yep, yep.
And so without the knowledge of how to properly be tackled without getting injured and instead fighting to go forward, I mean, that's kind of on the offensive player then, but it's always the defensive player that will get fined or will get booted out of the game for having tackled and having trying to do their job, that's what they're getting paid for, to stop the ball.
Mhm,
So then
mhm.
that like always kind of sparks a lot of interest in me because it's like I mean, I agree with certain ways of tackling shouldn't be allowed, but I also agree with the fact that the organizations, the franchises within the organization they need to focus on, protecting their players, and that means teaching them how to, you know, take a tackle with grace, how to take a tackle and not get hurt.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's a lot of yeah, safety protocols and whatnot that need to be enforced, but then even beyond that, it comes down to the teachings from the coaching staff and how they're continuing to help players progress and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, no, it's very interesting with the how you're saying how people might think it's boring and whatnot, and it's if they make sports too safe, and yeah, that's definitely the case. Everyone gets so bored because for some reason we've all become so, I don't know, desensitized, I guess,
Yes. Yeah,
which is
that's
funny
exactly it.
because like back in the day, there used to be what gladiators, literally killing each other in coliseums, and that was, like watching the Sunday night match of football or whatever.
Yep.
It's like, oh yeah, let's go watch the game. Hopefully that guy gets his head cut off. I got $20 on. It's just like
Yeah.
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah.
And now we're getting less and less violent, I guess, as a society and trying to protect people. And people are just like, no, we don't want that. We want the blood. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you not
Exactly.
entertained? No, we're not. We need blood. We need pain. We need to see physically inflicted pain upon another person.
Yeah.
That's how I,
It's so stupid.
so it's ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I do enjoy watching football, American football a lot. I, eventually would like to get into soccer and whatnot, but yeah, I don't know. Sometimes you see some hits that are just insane, and it's just like, Jesus Christ, I'm glad I'm not on the field.
Yeah, exactly,
I mean,
right?
I played football in high school and everything, but yeah, definitely it was a different level, obviously, kids
Mhm.
playing versus these world's best athletes and whatnot playing against
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah, yeah. Like, I mean, yeah, it should, all I can really say is that you shouldn't give those audience what they want, to be honest, because uh it's just it's not necessary.
And
That's just it.
unfortunately,
Uh,
unfortunately, once you get to the professional level, like we were saying before, it's not as much about the sport as it is about the business. That's kind of what they
mhm.
said at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, they
What's gonna
do.
bring in the most money,
Oh yeah,
by
yeah.
giving
But
into
like,
these
the
safety protocols or giving into the blood.
I'm not really concerned about that stuff. I'm just saying that like businesses, they can make the money even without that kind of stuff. It's just greed that makes them move forward with continuing on with blood. I mean, that's exactly how it is with hockey, Like people
Mm.
tackling each other and having fights on in the field, ice field, because it makes the
Oh yeah.
sport more fun for the viewers. and therefore they'll make a lot more money. I know all about all that, but at the end of the day, it's like it it really was not necessary. Like if you just don't give them that and always like protect these kinds of things, these rules, and to
Mhm.
enforce non-violence, then like sometimes these fights will happen anyway or whatever. That's fine as
Yeah.
long as you're not enforcing it, right? As long as you're like enforcing, trying to keep peace or trying to keep people from getting hurt and whatnot.
Yeah.
You know, what those people that love seeing that stuff will still get what they want at a much lesser degree, which makes it a lot more valuable in a way.
Mhm.
And I prefer it like that, where it's a natural outcome, much less than a business choice, right? Because then
Yeah.
you'll get like these viral clips. Oh my God, this happened and whatnot, and that it's not staged or faked or is a business practice or it's just it's something that's a natural occurrence because they don't enforce any their rules to stop the fighting or whatever. I mean, obviously they'll stop the fighting at some point, but like that those hockey fights fighting against each other goes on for like at least 30 seconds, maybe more,
Oh, yeah, no, they
before they're
can be
stopped.
brutal. What was it? And for hockey, they just had the, Four Nations tournament or whatever, and it was, what, US versus Canada for one of the first games, the first round when they played each other, there was 3 fights within the first, like, 90 seconds of the game or something.
That sounds hilarious.
Yeah,
I
like,
mean,
everyone was talking about it at my work, it was just, ridiculous.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I'd
And then,
say
I
it's like
mean,
that sounds hilarious and all that, but like, that's like that make me sound hypocritical. But like, at the end of the day, that's something that already passed. It's not something that like it's not like I'm watching it. It's not like I'm whatever. It's just the sound of it. It's just ironic and funny in that way.
yeah, right, no, yeah, for sure. No, yeah, I mean, I work at, not the soccer, the hockey stadium here, I
Hmm.
bartend there every now and then.
Yeah, yeah.
And no, there are some days where, I mean, the cheers for when the fights start on the ice versus when a team gets a goal, the cheering for the fights is a lot louder sometimes. So it just goes to show, yeah, I mean, these people, they want to see the violence, and it's, I mean, it's crazy, it's just the world we live in right now, and
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
eventually things will change, but
I
with
mean,
business
it'll
being
only
good for
change
these
if we
places,
look for it. That's the thing.
yeah,
Like if we're
and
not looking for
unfortunately,
it, then it's not gonna
unfortunately, the
happen.
fans of the sports, yeah. I mean, like in the NFL, they're not trying to, enforce or trying to. They're not. What's it called? What's the word I'm looking for? Well, they're not trying to promote the
Yeah.
violence and whatnot because they do fine these players, thousands and thousands of dollars for sometimes the slightest, act. Like, I mean, there'll be someone who just like, well, what? There's players all the time you hear every season about players who, oh, so and so threw a punch at the other player,
Hmm.
but like the guy will throw a punch and hit the other guy in the helmet. So yeah, the player who just got, quote unquote punched didn't feel anything. The player who punched the helmet probably injured his hand, and then he also gets fined for his act of violence.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, I mean, hey, I'm all for it. Like, act professional out there. You're representing a franchise. Don't act like a child. Don't be selfish and go after something because you're upset. Throw a punch.
Hmm.
But, but yeah, I mean, the players, they make so much money nowadays that it doesn't really affect them.
Yeah, yeah,
Especially once
exactly.
you get past these rookie contracts, once you get your couple million a year, or sometimes it's like some of these players are making, tens of million every year.
Yep.
I think one of the quarterbacks, he just got God, someone broke down his contract. He got 300 million for the next 4 years or 5 years or something. So they
Mhm,
said, like, yeah, every minute of the day, he makes, like, $1.60 or something for the next 5 years.
mhm. That is
It's like,
funny,
Jesus
yeah.
Christ. I gotta clock into work and put in, like, I don't know, a good amount of time before I make $1.60.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Ugh.
But, money isn't everything, and, like, whatever like, what is he gonna do with that money anyway? That's the real question. It's like, he's
Just
just
gonna
gonna
be
waste it on,
generational
like,
wealth.
real estate or whatever.
Uh, yeah, I don't know, maybe. You never know with some of these players. I feel like a lot of them, though,
I'm sure some
once you
of
get that
them
kind of money, it's generational wealth then, like, his kids and his kids' kids and his
yeah,
kids' kids' kids, they'll all be pretty well off.
but, I'm pretty sure that the general idea of, sports people is that they aren't very, uh, good with money anyway.
Well, that's why they have agents. They have people that manage their money.
Oh, yeah? Okay, that's good to hear.
Most of it. Yeah, I mean, if you make it to a professional level, once you're a rookie prospect to make it into any professional league, you're gonna have an agent right away because
Mhm.
obviously someone's
Yeah, I
gonna
get
wanna take a
that.
cut of your money.
I just didn't know
And
that
then, yeah.
they handled the money, you know what I mean? Like, I thought that the player themselves just put it all into their bank and then whatever.
Oh, I mean, I'm sure there's some. You hear about some players that, if they get knocked out of the league due to injury at an early age, I mean, all their money is gone before they could really even spend it because, they had planned a long career and, "Oh, yeah, I got this house, got this new car, bought my parents something, bought my siblings something," and then boom, injury, and now they're screwed. But then you got the other sides of the story, where, oh, they had a long-lasting career and, yeah, all the money went to there's a lot of players who are very charitable too and whatnot. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of that's I feel like is based down to the individual. Not like there shouldn't be a stereotype that every athlete is bad at handling money.
I mean,
Some
obviously
of these
not every,
athletes
but like,
some of
how
these
many of
athletes,
them
like
really?
a lot of these athletes actually have like, decent college degrees and whatnot. I mean, there's people that went to Yale and Harvard that are in the NFL. They could be a
What?
doctor. There's one guy, a quarterback who he was went to school, he got 3 different degrees. He's basically licensed to be an astronaut. But he's like, "Nah, I'd rather go play football. Don't need to go to space."
Uh, okay. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
I
understand
mean,
that just because like from what I've heard of football is that you have to invest a lot of your time into it. Like you don't really have time for other things kind of thing.
yeah, I mean, that's a case where I'd say probably like, 90% of players probably.
90%
They just
of
dedicate their entire.
sports really.
Oh, yeah, for sure, yeah. Players in any
Yeah.
sport, yeah, you gotta invest, like you're saying, invest the time, have that dedication solely to the sport. But
Yeah.
then you got those golden eggs, I suppose,
Yeah.
who are
I
just,
I never count exceptions though. They're exceptions for a reason.
yeah, that's a good point, yeah.
Yeah. So like every time someone like tells me about some guy that like did all this, like yeah, but that's not everybody. That's like just him.
That's what makes him great, yeah.
In any case though, yeah, cuz I mean at the end of the day, yeah, it is what the common does that matters the most because exceptions they just do their own thing that's like away from everybody else usually, and so therefore they're able to like do things that isn't normally done kind of thing.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, obviously there are geniuses out there or whatever, but yeah, exceptions, right?
Well,
um
yeah, that's what makes them great.
yeah, yeah, exactly, but whether they're the greatest at football is another question.
Mhm. That's a good point, yeah, the guy who, could be an astronaut, he's a terrible quarterback. Not gonna
There
be a
you
player
go.
for the team. I mean, he's better than probably 99.9% of the world population at being a quarterback, but yeah, in the
Yeah,
standards of the league, not a starter.
yeah, exactly. Like, but not only that, I mean, like, the world, like, with the context of, uh, American football is only in America. Like, no other country in the world plays American football.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's gonna be crazy. I mean, I think the league's gonna try to expand eventually, and I'm gonna be terrible for the league. I don't think it's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be a success. But yeah, the last couple of years they've been having all those international games and everything, and
Okay.
eventually they're gonna move teams out around the country to different countries. But they've had games in what, Brazil, Germany, London. Yeah, who knows? I feel
Mm-hmm.
like that's just gonna ruin the sport eventually. It's gonna be what do they say? Wearing yourself too thin kind of thing.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's get back to Blue Lock. We've been
Yeah. I wanted to talk
ranting and
about
raving about
something.
everything else.
Yeah. Like, so to end that off, really, is just that, like, I mean, I still think that, men's sports need to be safer, and do it in a way that I guess that I think that people like Tom Brady should like start thinking about how to compensate for certain things, but like also, if someone's gonna break a leg from it, then then you shouldn't do it. Like, and how to get around
Yeah.
that is not just training, because even with training, you can still make that fatal mistake at any time in your career or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, yeah, right. I
just
mean, in
because you're
any
trained for it doesn't mean you're gonna like it can still happen.
yeah, in any contact sport, there's always a chance of getting
Yeah,
hurt, right?
yeah. But as I will, because like that's just something that you cannot really control. How somebody hip tackles you or whatever. Like, there could be
The
different
hip
ways to
drop
get hip
thing.
tackled, and it's like I don't know. Like, how do you like? I just don't want that, like, any chance of there being any like devious things
Yeah.
behind the scenes or on the field that
Mhm.
that can be that's possible to do anyway. Because like I don't know if there can be other types of hip tackles, but it can be the case. I mean, a professional football player would have to tell me, especially a defender
Mhm.
would probably be able to see it because they are the ones that do it.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, but yeah, so if they're a professional at this sport, then you need to like okay, like they want to make the rules safer, so think of a way to make it safer. Maybe you do have to change
Mhm.
some rules around. Maybe you have to do this. Maybe do that. Doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, it's very you can even make it simpler even. But I see sports as something that is you don't necessarily have to complicate it more. You can make it simpler to make it
Mhm.
safer, kind of thing.
Mhm.
Um, but example of that, I mean, well, I'll probably maybe some other time. I really want to get back to Blue Lock in that I want to
Yeah.
talk about Isagi himself.
Sure,
Um,
sure.
So Isagi, like, last episode I was like playing off the idea that he could be autistic and whatnot, right?
Oh,
Um,
sure, yeah.
and again, that's all just for fun, really. I mean, um, I'll say right now that uh, how a character is made is not just by one person. It is one person that thinks about how it's like to be another person and um, getting feedback from other people about their writing to like better implement these characters. So obviously he's not actually autistic, but the way that he's written in some certain cases makes
Mhm.
him feel that way, and that's just like for fun. I put that in there. It's like he probably got some idea of autism in that character, right? Just that it's not gonna be what makes the character, obviously, because this is a character that's not made to be representing a specific person. It was made with the feedback of many people on how to make this character uh, likable and fun and what's it called, quirky, um,
Mhm. Mhm.
and epic. Like he
Right.
needs to be having something going for him, basically. So obviously, so that is all to say that he's obviously not actually autistic. But to really further uh, put that out there is that he cared about what other people think of him or what other people think in general, especially Bachira. Like that showed, right? Like even in the first episode for a little bit, he was like, "Why did he pass the ball to me like that?" You know what I mean?
Right.
And
Mhm.
then
Mhm.
even in this episode, it's not even just Bachira. Like he could see, um, he felt awkward for kicking the ball, in what was that guy's name again? Anyway,
Kira.
this guy, right?
Yeah, Kira, yep.
Yeah, Akira or Kira, whatever. Yeah, Kira.
Mm.
So he felt awkward about it, and like he's like he almost looks sorry. His face looks sorry for doing that to him. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and like a lot of autistic people. I mean, of course they would still be affected, but like usually autistic people don't really.
Pick
I
up
wouldn't
on
say
the social
care.
cues
It's just
then
that they
somewhat.
don't focus on someone else's feelings.
Yeah, they're not really picking up on the social cues, and empathy
Yeah.
probably comes a little harder for them.
I mean, obviously, I mean, Kira made it really obvious, but like even before him making it obvious, he was still like, oh, I feel kind of bad.
Mhm, mhm.
I'm kind of like, ooh, yeah, ooh, kind of like that.
Right, yeah, I just destroyed your dreams, but,
Ooh, oh. And you were so nice to me too, you know? Oh man. And
we were
like
gonna
even
be
in the first
besties.
episode, he was like, "Oh, he's
Mhm.
so nice and stuff. I feel like I could be friends with this guy." Like that kind of
Yeah,
thing,
right.
like
Right, right.
but yeah, like caring about what other people think and whatnot and like being considerate of them. Well, I don't know if he was showing much consideration, but he was like he could pick up social cues, like even here he's like he's very logical. He's this guy is hiding his food, thinking that someone would steal
His
it, but
pickled
he
ginger.
knows that nobody's gonna steal it. Like,
Yeah,
he
right.
has common sense. And so that is all to say that like Isagi, even though he was getting bad grades in school, it was just that he was not applying himself. That's all it was there was to it. Like,
Right, he was putting more focused into his, sports.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Uh, but I do think that there is some kind of flaw in character to that. It's like you have common sense, yet your grades are bad and you only focused on soccer. And I mean, I guess you are, I guess, I mean, to have common sense, you have to be considerate of others to a degree.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
so I guess, yeah, that does make sense in a way. So like, yeah, he does, he didn't really care about school that much. And
Did
so
it
that
say
also can come with common sense in its own right.
did it say how bad he was doing at in school?
Oh, I
Because I
mean,
know, like,
bad grades. I'm sure that maybe he was failing. I don't know.
I don't know,
Um,
in a lot of high school programs, I mean, I feel like they have, you have to have a certain GPA in order to participate in sports.
oh, yeah, that is a
Yeah.
good point to make. Yeah, maybe
So,
he didn't fail, but I don't know,
he
like
obviously wasn't applying himself, just doing the bare minimum to continue playing soccer maybe.
yeah, yeah. I mean, if it's for soccer, yeah, he'll do it like that kind of thing, right? We can at least see
Right.
that much.
Yeah, exactly, right. But, I mean, yeah, there's still, like, the people who will just keep up a GPA to, the bare minimum in order to pursue what they actually want to pursue, which
Exactly.
for him is, yeah, soccer because that's where his, interests lie and whatnot, and so, I mean, I
hmm
feel like, what, humans, we always like to find, like, a challenge, that we can try to, overcome and whatnot. And his challenge that he decided to take on was to get a national title, to be, eventually probably a professional soccer player and all that. And that just seemed like more challenging to him, or more fun of a challenge for him to take on than, academics and whatnot. And so
Oh
he
yeah.
just didn't apply himself to school in order to, you know, put his time and invest his time elsewhere.
Yep, yep.
Athletics. Hmm.
Exactly that. And not only that, like something like becoming a pro at soccer, I mean, that does require all your um, thoughts or whatever to because
Yes. Hmm.
it's such a vast world that
Mhm.
that is more than enough for one small child to invest their entire life to. Like
Right, yeah, mhm.
investing 16 years of your life to soccer is like, I mean, that is what it takes to be a pro at a very young age, anyway.
Yeah, just quick, it crossed my mind too, the guy sitting across the table from Isagi, or
hmm
Isagi, what's his name again?
I don't know. I just think of him as Namusen.
Oh, yeah, Igarashi.
Igarashi.
But
Okay,
he's a former temple monk, and his parents they run a temple.
that's right.
So, do temple monks, do they have to go to school? Was he on an actual team then, or was he just kind of like on a traveling team or
Well,
something, do you
yeah, I'm
think?
sure that he had to go to school. Like, there's no reason for a kid to not go to school, even if
Right,
they're a
yeah.
monk or whatever. Like,
Okay.
if they're living in a village and whatnot, it's like, I mean, you could be homeschooled, but I doubt that he was because in the first place, how
Mhm.
did he even get here, right?
Yeah, right, that's kinda what I was just curious about, like, if he was just a temple monk
hmm
who liked playing soccer, how did they find him? But,
And
yeah,
then
he
like the
must have
way
went
that
to school.
like why he even became like a soccer player in the first place is because he wants to get away from the temple
That
life.
Yeah,
And
right, right.
for a kid to want that in the first place is because they live a life outside of their temple.
Right, yeah, mhm. I mean, I feel like that might be one of those, uh I guess like a stereotypical kind of role of like that's teen rebellion, like, oh, my parents do this, so I don't
Yes.
want to do that, like I want
hmm
to break free from that.
Yeah, I mean, it's normal for a kid to want more. I mean,
Hmm.
to want a fun life when they see a fun life.
Yeah, exactly, right. And I mean, soccer being as big of a sport as it is, obviously he probably saw it on TV and he saw all the, excitement that these players get to live out on the field. And I'm sure being a temple monk, there's a lot to be desired when it comes to excitement and whatnot. And so,
hmm
yeah, I'm sure that just kind of drew him in right away. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I was just curious, like if you thought he went to like a actual a formal school and whatnot.
But yeah, after the talk, I'm like 99% sure that this guy went to an actual school and everything
Yeah,
because
okay.
like there Like for him to be here, it means that they had to have statistics on him, and
Yeah.
that like he had to have done well enough to even have to be here in those statistics. So
Ugh.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Um
really hope that we get some more uh like information about these other characters' past and whatnot as we move forward
mhm.
through the series and everything. Because there's a lot of interesting characters. I mean, you got Barachi. Obviously, we need a little more information on Isagi, and then
Mm.
yeah, this Igarashi guy. Then the rest of the guys on this team that we don't really know too much, like these two.
Mhm. Exactly.
Guy
There's
with
gonna
the
be so
white
many
hair.
new faces.
Right, yeah.
But
They're
yeah,
all on a
yeah.
team
They will get to
going
them a little
against
bit. Like
teams.
this guy's a quirky guy right here too.
Yeah, yeah, just the way he's eating like a caveman, shoveling everything into his face.
Mhm.
Who's the number one guy on this team now then? Is it this guy? That caveman
No,
like guy?
I don't think so anyway. But what's funny is that Bachira isn't even considered the best, which is kind of
Yeah,
weird to
he's
me
really
too.
good. Yeah, we saw
Yeah.
him do that crazy spin move in the first
Yeah, nobody else
episode.
does that.
Right. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, all these guys.
Okay, so these are all the guys that are left.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? I think it's this orange-haired
You
guy
think that
on
he's the
the
best, right?
I think he was well, because I was thinking like when we saw there was that all everyone ranked and everything when what's his name was still there.
Ego?
No, no, no. When Kira was still in the
Kira?
group, they had all of their like profiles or whatever with their rankings, and I feel like this orange-haired guy was right next to Kira.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a surprise with how he looks and how he
Yeah.
acted
Right.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, so in anime, you always got to go on like who looks like the weirdest. It seems like like oh yeah, he's the main character for sure.
Or I
Although
guess, yeah.
out of all of these characters, I feel like Isagi is the most plain looking.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Wait,
funny.
that's weird that you say that
Maybe
because I think the monk kid is the most plain looking.
oh yeah, yeah, he's not really too standout. He looks like the drawing that you'd see like in a backdrop of a crowd, just multiple
Yeah,
versions of him wearing different colored
yeah,
outfits.
exactly. Just if you
His
just look
hair
at
doesn't
the
have the shining or shimmering like everyone else's.
yeah, I mean that does
He
come with a
kinda
shaved head, yeah.
he kinda reminds me of you watched Hunter x Hunter, right?
Only a little bit.
Oh, you only watched a little bit? Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
there's
like
this
the first
little kid who
episode.
was what? Oh man. But no, they eventually they go to this arc where there's this kid that's kind of dressed up as a just a martial artist and whatnot. He looks like the I don't know, 10-year-old version of the Temple Monk kid in Blue Lock, I'd say.
Yep. Okay. Oh, I thought you were gonna say more about this kid, but yeah.
Oh no, just how he looks similar to another character.
Oh, okay, that's it. That's funny. I was like, oh,
Well, I
is it
would
that this
talk more
kid was
about
like
it if
really
you had
good or
watched
something?
it. Eh, he was
uh,
all right. He was
yeah, there you go, right? Like
in front.
it's always that they aren't, they're not really they're not that good.
Right. I mean, he was a what, like a 10-year-old kid along with Gon and Killua, and they were going through this, what is it called, the Tower of Heaven or something like that. They
Yeah,
were just
yeah,
fighting adults.
yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, I mean, they made it all the way up to the top and stuff. So,
But yeah, so like, uh, I mean, could you see any of these guys making it to the top?
yeah, I mean, maybe just like that orange hair kid and then this caveman like kid.
Okay, yeah.
Like
This,
those two just seem like I mean, they were right out in front too.
mm-hmm.
And it just
Interesting
seemed
how
they kind of
you so like what about the caveman one is so likely to go up there to you?
the expression on his face, it just seems like it's so um I don't know, what's the word? I guess almost like uninterested. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like when we finally see him lock in, like it's gonna be something, like there's no
Yeah,
way he's just like this kind of like casual about everything, because
that's
he's
right.
in this program for a reason. So I feel like there's gonna be something more we're gonna see from him.
So it's always the quiet kid, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly. Yeah, the quiet kid's gonna pop off eventually.
Yeah. Okay, that's a very good way to look at it. Yeah, yeah, for sure. So, yeah, I'm surprised. So it's just those two, right?
Yeah, for what I feel looking at this group of what is it, 11 of them now? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Those 2 just seem to kinda stand out to me.
Okay.
And then you got
So
yeah,
now
and
I have the question, why not
mhm.
Bachira?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he is just, yeah, sitting there with his little legs crossed. We've seen that he's very skilled,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I don't know. He's not one of the top ranked, but we also know that the rankings within these small groups don't have a lot to do with it just because, I mean, the top ranked guy got knocked out by one of the lowest ranked already.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
But yeah, so like why I went into him is because all this episode we learn more about him.
We do get to learn more about him and the
The
monster
monster.
inside him.
Yeah, yeah. And so it's
I feel
like
like
that was very
his
interesting.
feel like his role is just gonna be to help Isagi unlock
Mm-hmm.
his monster, and then
Okay, there you go.
he'll get knocked out or something.
Yeah, yeah. So that's why you feel like he's not gonna be the top.
I mean, the last guy that we got, slightly like attached to, he got knocked out at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
episode. So
That's
for all
right,
I
that's
know,
right.
Bachira's next.
That
They're going
is
for
a good
like a
way to look
Game of
at
Thrones
it.
style.
Yeah, that's one
Yeah.
way to think
The
about it.
people we know least about, yeah, those are the people that'll make it.
Yeah, yeah.
No
Okay.
emotional connection yet.
Mm-hmm. Don't get emotionally attached to anyone because they can get knocked out very early.
Yep.
Uh,
Exactly.
that's funny. That's very funny. Yeah. But yeah, no, that's a perfectly reasonable way to look at it in that like uh, they make it's very obvious to someone like us that he is just a stepping stone for Isagi at the end of the day.
Mhm. Right.
Because of how he was just like passing the ball to him and everything. Like he's
Mhm.
really good
Right.
at passing, a really really tricky guy, but
Mhm.
you know being tricky and yet he's passing the ball to him instead of just striking out the Kira himself. Like
Right.
and his reasoning is like, oh, you look like you wanted to do it so badly, so I gave it to you. It's so
Right,
interesting, you
yeah.
know. He's
Mhm.
interested in the other character, not so much in the goal. Like his
Yeah,
priority was
right.
just giving it to him.
Mhm.
But yeah, very very good uh, observation and reasoning behind why you think that, like why you didn't even consider him. Like I was like wondering if you were even gonna consider him, and you didn't. And I was
Mhm.
like, okay, yeah, that'll make for a good talk. But yeah, it's exactly that. Like that's how I felt as well. I was like, this character, he's really, I like him. I like him a lot, and
Yeah.
that he has a lot of potential, but
Mhm.
he's definitely not gonna be, the one at the top, even if I were to like take Isagi out of the picture.
Right. Mhm.
I mean, we all know Isagi would be the one at the top, which is why we're just theory crafting. It's like, okay, well, what if it wasn't him?
Yeah, right.
uh,
You take him out of the picture, what do we got left?
yeah, exactly that. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. This is this is really good information going forward. I
Mhm.
like I like I like your analysis of these characters and how the future episodes may play out, kind of thing. Like I love all
Yeah.
that, the predictions and all that.
Mm.
That's what I wanted this podcast for.
Excellent. Yeah.
uh,
Can't wait to see how I'm wrong, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Well, which one will you be right about? Which one will you be wrong about? Wrong about, right? Yeah,
Right.
that's exactly what I want out of this. Yeah, that's actually the main priority of the podcast. The other one that comes second place is just talking about uh like philosophical stuff, I guess, or like all those different other topics that we went into, especially going into football, American football, or like or like doing research on Messi, doing research on the author of Blue Lock, which interestingly enough, he is not a pro in any way. He's literally just a manga writer, and so I thought that maybe he was a former pro because the thing is that why I thought like that. I need to talk about that. Is that
Mm.
there's this manga called Soma, Food Wars, Chokugeki no
Oh, okay.
Soma. Yeah, that's the
Mhm.
one. And the writer of that, no, they are not, they are also not some culinary pro or whatever, but
Mm.
he knew a culinary pro. I'm pretty sure that's what, like,
Oh.
IIRC anyway. That's how I remembered it. And so he was able to get his opinion on things, and that's how he is able to write like this. Is like when you watch the show or read the manga, they go into such depth about how these foods have these flavor profiles, why they have them, and the science behind them too. It's like putting using all these chemical stuff, chemical talk to talk about the juiciness of this flavors and why this works and why that works and whatnot. You know, uh, and why that's the case is because he knew a guy. He knew a food pro, a chef, and all that that did all this, or maybe he didn't do all this, but he knows other chef pros that knows this kind of information and whatnot. Like
Mm.
it's all about doing the research and whatnot, and how you get to that research, and we don't get to know how this Blue Lock author got all this. But we do, at the very least, know that he had to have done his research and that maybe he could have interviewed some soccer pros or soccer pro coaches or whatever.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Oh, another thing is that Blue Lock, like the anime, and Aoashi were funded by, I believe, either the government or whatever. Some because they were promoting soccer basically because they like Japan soccer. They it's really moving up in the world, as this episode actually even pointed out itself, with the girl talking about how it's been moving up so fast, right? Um, but yeah, so like that's why you get these animes, Aoashi and Blue Lock, is because it was funded to like to hype everybody up for the upcoming soccer tournament, event, or season or whatever for Japan
Mm.
in the worlds, or something like that. Yeah, yeah. So like yeah, that's that on that. I lost track of what I was even talking about anymore. Yeah, but either
Hey.
way though, um, whatever that was. Oh right, that I was going off of the Blue Lock author and whatnot. It's like you don't have to be a pro. You just need to know people that are in the industry or whatever, which I'm sure that he did uh, look into
Mm.
those people because of the government funding or something like that, or someone funding it, and then just giving him those people to interview and whatnot. Like I think that may have been how it went.
Mm. Yeah. It's a it's a high possibility, I would say. Highly
Yeah.
possible. For sure.
But in any case, though, I think that's all the topics that we have for this episode. And
Yeah. No, yeah, looking forward to seeing Team Z versus Team X on the next episode.
oh yeah,
Really
that's
hoping
right.
it's not gonna be a case where the episode 3 is gonna open and it's just gonna be like in a locker room of them talking about how the game went or something, you know? Really hoping we get to see them actually play soccer.
Did that did like did that happen at some point? Was that because of Awashi or something
Mm,
or
no, no, I used to watch this one, show all about college football,
oh
a college football team, but it was a comedy show.
okay.
And so you never saw them actually play football. You always saw them right after like a game. That's how the episodes always begun, based on
Okay.
how the last game went, and then it would be crazy antics that the players are doing.
Oh, that's pretty funny. Yeah. I'll just say right now because I don't plan on watching Blue Lock season 2 is that
Mm,
exactly that happens in season 2 from the like the first episode or something. Like
right. Yeah.
they barely play any soccer at all. And the animation is like just still frames. I mean, they're epic still frames, but like yeah, they just it was
Yeah.
turning me off because of how season 1 was. And like, you know, I get it. They gotta save budget and whatnot for like the good stuff. But
Yeah. Right.
like I've watched so many anime that I know how it's gonna go. Like I know
Right.
how they're gonna use their budget. I know how they're gonna spread it out, and I don't like that kind of animation. I just don't.
No.
Uh,
Yeah. It's never fun.
yeah, it's like what I came here for. Yes, I did like the characters, but at the end of the day, like I came for the epicness of the sport that they are showing off, and so
Yeah.
like if you're not
Right.
giving me that, like I
I
mean,
mean, it's like any anime, you know. Like I love like Demon Slayer, one of my favorite animes, you know. But I mean, I love it for the character development, but it's the battles against the demons that they are slaying that I would, yeah, that I want to see, and they do a great job at making those like some of the most epic battles, you know. But if they took that out and you just got to hear about them, how the battles went, like,
yeah,
that it just
yeah,
wouldn't be nearly as captivating. You know, you could say the same thing for any anime that has fighting in it. Dragon Ball Z, One Piece, you know. I don't
yeah,
wanna hear
yeah.
Luffy talk about how his battle with Kaido went, I wanna witness it, you know?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So, when in the same regard for these sports anime, yeah, like, I don't wanna just hear their analysis of their game, I wanna witness it. I wanna see how they've developed in their game because that's what their goal is, and I wanna be there to share the experience with these characters, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And like it's like the way that they budget it is that like I you don't like I can't even get the minimum, the minimum satisfaction of the results because
Mm,
it's just like still frames and like you can get an idea of how they trick ball, I guess. But it's
yeah,
like, couldn't you at least animate the trick ball? Like the most epic
uh,
part of that
right.
interaction, you know what I mean? But you wouldn't even do that. Like, like I,
Ugh.
I, I, I mean, I get that animation is hard and all, or like that they're
Oh,
running on a budget,
100%.
but like
Mhm.
they should really at least focus some budget in certain areas better,
Yeah.
so
I'd
that it
rather have
doesn't
still
just
frames
become
of people talking.
a slideshow.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah,
Ugh.
like that's why I didn't want to watch any more of Blue Lock season 2, even if it did get better, because
Mhm.
the pacing at which it gets better is not gonna be to my liking. It's just like I have to drag myself out for like 8 to 10 episodes so that I can get that satisfaction. No way.
Right. Yeah, it's just not worth your investment at that time, right?
Yeah. Like I've already learned enough about the characters as I needed to.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like I'd rather see still frames of when they're talking,
Yeah,
with the budget for
very
when they're
true.
playing the game.
Very, very true. That's a see that's good allocation of budget right there. You just like you should be a animation manager.
Right, be the project manager for that stuff.
Yeah, like man, like that's already, a good way of allocating budget of animation. Like, you just make the
Mhm.
still frames the parts where they're just talking to each other or whatever, and then you
Right.
and then you put the rest into what really matters, focus on what matters kind of thing.
Yeah,
But yeah,
exactly.
like
Mhm.
yeah, so yeah, that's just to confirm that we are not going to be watching season 2 because there are other animes to watch for the podcast that will give a lot more um, insight and a lot more, um, yeah, a lot more good talks, I'd say. Yeah.
Mhm.
Like rather than focusing on the bad stuff and like just reacting to them, going like, "Oh, it's so ugly. Oh, it's so this and that." It's like,
Right.
like not to like mock those people, but it's more like it's just that's just so oversaturated to have that kind
Yeah.
of reaction. Like I've seen enough of it. I don't need to be a part of that as a content creator. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, next episode. It's gonna be. It should be pretty. I mean, obviously it's gonna be pretty fun because like I said, season 2, their budget like went way down. I mean,
Mhm.
because like season 1 was literally made for the soccer season, and therefore they had a lot of
Oh,
budget to work with.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but season 2, that's not the case. They only have the enthusiasm of the fans of the anime to go off of, and so therefore they have a lot less to work with. Like
Oh, that's very
budget,
interesting.
yeah, budget does make the anime. For the most part, obviously there are some exceptions. Like
Mhm.
this one anime called Oshinoko, where
Ocean. Okay.
yeah, I mean, surely they had some budget, but it was mostly passion driven. Okay, like a lot of that was passion driven, and like they did not care about the pay. They did not. Okay, I'm gonna say it right here, right now. Like it was all passion driven, and like just working on the show in itself was the reward. Okay, like that's what
Mm.
it was to them because the animation director of that show really good friends with the author of that manga, and the author of
Mm.
that manga made plenty of really good mangas along with that, which one of them was Love is War, which was really successful.
Mm.
And yeah, this author, he's just a really chill guy and all that, and makes lots of connections with people, and that's why like you know this guy being such uh, a cool person and his achievements is why this animation director wanted to just give. I'm pretty sure it was a she, give her all to this show anyway.
Mm.
Like she didn't
Okay.
have to make an hour and 30 minutes of a first episode, but she did. Like what the fuck?
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, exactly, man. Like so yeah, it's those kinds of shows that I really look forward to, that I really love and watch and whatnot. Um
Mhm.
but yeah, that is to say that like the show was really well done as well for its budget and whatnot. For it having this budget, I meant, and that's why we will only watch season 1 and not season 2. And yeah, we will move on to another anime from there. We have plans for like many good shows to watch. And yeah, so Blue Lock. Uh, yeah, it's time to lock off.
Locking off. All right, good talk. Can't wait for the next step.
All right. Have a good day, everyone.